Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media. So, yesterday we got to see a segment that was highly anticipated from yours truly, Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. We already know that Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, they have their little podcast, little altercast, telecast, simulcast, whatever you want to call it. During March Madness, during the women's tournament, matter of fact, and that they had a slew of guests. Now they have, I think, like 4 or 5 guests on there, and one was recently retired Elena Deladon, who retired from the WNBA over the weekend. Fellow UConn, Aaliyah Edwards there, and none other than Caitlin Clark, former Iowa Hawkeye, former Rookie of the Year, still current Rookie of the Year until that be replaced this season. And she was a special guest on the Sue Bird and Diana Taurasi show. Now, this podcast, this segment was over 21 minutes, and I think she had the longest segment out of everybody. And because, that she was on there before, but this time she's there, they made an announcement a couple of days ago that she was going to be there, that she's not little Caitlin no more. She's grown Caitlin and everything. And this podcast was pretty good. To me, I felt like it was pretty good. But, Diana Taurasi is Diana Taurasi. You can't really expect too much from her. Sue Bird, she's the lighthearted one. Diana Taurasi, she want to crack jokes. She want to get on snide sarcasm. But Caitlin Clark held her own. She gave some shots back at Diana Taurasi as well. And they talked about a slew of those things. For the first segment clip I have for y'all is that they talked about the Indiana Fever, the additions to the Indiana Fever, and so forth, so on. So no, while waste any more seconds, here we go.
Caitlin, how excited are you for this next WNBA season? New head coach and Stephanie White. You're adding Natasha Howard, who Sue knows really well, Juana Bonner, which I know really well, Sophie Cunningham. I mean, it seems like, from the outside, this roster's ready to compete now, which is easy for us to say. We know there's a process to get there, but when you see that and you see those names come in, what does that make you feel like?
Oh, I mean, obviously on paper we have a really good team, but you only have, we start training camp I think on the 27th, and then we have a back-to-back preseason games on May 3rd and May 4th. So it's we have a very short amount of time to put that together. And 7 new pieces, and whether we carry 11 or 12, it's more than half of our roster. That's a hard thing within itself, but we should be pretty good. And I'm excited about it. I think what we needed was, we added a lot more experience. In the playoffs, we just didn't have that. We were young through. Even Kels, obviously with being with the Fever during her entire career, she hasn't really had the opportunity to play in a ton of playoff games. So having that, whether it's Sydney Colson, whether it's Judy, whether it's Natasha Howard, whoever it is, I think having that experience is going to be really good for us and that leadership in the locker room. So I'm excited, and obviously Steph is one of the smartest basketball minds I've ever been around, and everybody knows that across the league. Everybody admires her and the way she coaches and the way she leads. So I'm excited to learn from her, honestly.
Top season. There was the viral picture that went around showing off your guns. Everyone's wondering, have you been hitting the weight room? Was it the camera angle? What happened? How did you do that? I've been trying to do that for 20 years.
AI is getting out of control. Come on. But,
it was like that. Remember when that Alex Caruso picture came out?
Yeah,
he was ripped.
Yeah.
Because honestly, trying to get stronger.
Season, working on your game.
You're trying to get stronger, a lot of time in the weight room, and it's something I kind of enjoy. So it's been pretty easy for me to spend time in there and really work on that part of my game. And I think the biggest thing on on the court is just like that mid-range area. Like I got pretty uncomfortable in there when I would get in there, whether that's like I didn't really have any floater. I didn't like taking the mid-range jump shot, so just getting more comfortable like when I get my feet kind of into the paint and honestly trying to just add a floater to my game and, you know, finishing through contact and little things like that. But I think of just going back to the weapons that we've added this year, like there's going to be so many different things that we're able to do that I think it'll be able to make my life a little bit easier and it should make everybody's life a little bit easier on our team.
What was it like for you two to play against each other?
It was amazing. You know, I've been following Caitlin for so long and been watching her college career just from on to be on the court. And, you know, the first game was in Phoenix, and it felt like the last game that was ever going to be played. There was such anticipation. The crowd was going crazy. All the people that came out to see Caitlin and you know, our team play against each other. It really was an amazing moment. And you talked about how, you know, if you could play against anyone that is this new generation. So I got to cross paths with Caitlin, at least for a couple of games. And to me, that meant a lot, you know? Like, we've been doing this for a long time, and to see Caitlin do what she does is, I think someone said the other day, I'm like, I want the season to start so I can watch you again.
You were saying what it was like to play against Dee.
Well, I was saying, like, in that game in Phoenix, because we only played in Phoenix one time, and it was before Olympic break. Obviously, we had All-Star there, too, but it was a great game. Honestly, I'm pretty sure we were down, like, 10 or 15 and came all the way back and won. That was, like, our first, like, win versus a team that was above 500, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Right. And all we heard that whole week was like, Indiana, they don't get along, you know, all this. And I'm like, great. And then I'm like, this is the most together team I've ever seen.
Is that one of the hardest things for you as a pro now? Just seeing all the narratives, like that one, that your team didn't get along, and just having to literally ignore it, deal with it, even though you know it's not true?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something you kind of just become used to. It's like people think they know what's going on inside of your locker room, and they just don't. At the end of the day, it's just, you know, the girls that you have in there, and then obviously your coaching.
All right, so that's part of the first segment that they talked about. And the one thing that I wanted to touch on is the last part of that segment when they was talking about the narrative about they didn't get along and there was trouble in the locker room. But now we already know that most of that stuff came from Dejanay Carrington and Alyssa Smith. But the main part of this was Cheryl Swoops. Cheryl Swoops was driving that narrative so much during that time, especially, you know, she was on these podcasts, she was talking, and even when she was announcer for the Dallas Wings, she was always saying things and excluding Kaylin and trying to divide a division inside that locker room. And she even went on Gil's Arenas to say, oh, well, I heard there's issues in the locker room when there wasn't issues in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? So, and maybe there was some kind of tension early on in the season because Caitlin came and, you know, Christy Sides was favoring certain players and wanted Caitlin to play a certain way. She wanted Caitlin to play a certain way, and everybody that has watched Caitlin play know how Caitlin's supposed to play, and people wasn't happy with it. And then Leo Boston wasn't picking her weight up. Kelsey Mitchell was doing her own thing, and then later on, you know, after that break, they clicked and got it together, and they erased all the narrative that was there. You know what I'm saying? So that part was very, very important, and I was glad that was brought out. Okay, now for segment 2, and I'll go back in.
I love this.
All right, Caitlin, you brought up pick and roll coverage that you saw in college. Some great, some not so great. What was one of the surprises in the coverages you saw in the WNBA?
Ooh, I mean, a lot of tracking. Like, there's just so many athletic 5 players, and they're just so much longer than what you see in college. And being able to play out of that, like, it's hard. Like, you and your post player have to be on the same page, but also, like, once you get the advantage and have a 4-on-3, like, you need to score. Like, you need to execute. That's how you get people to stop tracking. You know? And honestly, early in this season, we weren't very good at that, and then we got a lot better. And honestly, I give Leah Boston a lot of credit. I don't think people don't realize how good of a passer she is. Like, she's a really good passer.
Yeah.
There was a few games there where she almost had a triple double just because she like moves and distributes the ball really well. So you got to give a lot of credit to Leah. But I think just the trapping, people can switch 1 through 5 or 1 through 4, and then you have a quick guard on you, but then you get switched and you have a longer, not as quick player on you. So there's like different ways you have to beat that, but you can't really think about it in the moment. It's a lot, but I think I got better at it.
People think, and then people think basketball's easy. There's a lot to process.
Second decision.
Yeah, and that's what sets you and Sue apart. Is like decisions that people miss, you guys make it before it even happens, and that's why it's
Okay, so now that you're retired, Dean, you can be honest. What was the most difficult pick and roll coverage for you?
I mean, I think the hard head is always annoying. Being a bigger guard, I feel like little guards can split it, get around it. Like, I would always try to fight and go around, as you know. So probably the head was just annoying because you knew you had to get off the ball. And that's when you evolve and you try to play off the ball a little bit more.
Yeah, well, I think that's one of the biggest things when I was playing you, like just the way when you're off the ball and people are like top blocking you, like just how savvy you are to like fool them and fool the refs, and like the way you use screens. Like honestly, like I just loved watching it up close. Like it was impressive. Like you could tell you played the game for a really long time, and it takes time to acquire those skills and like understand what you can do. Who's your favorite ref?
My favorite ref.
That's a great question.
Yeah. Are we going to commercial break?
Nope, you gotta answer.
Okay. My favorite. Wow.
Good for you. Your favorite.
This is
therapy. This is a therapy session.
Oh wow! I'm gonna go with Lisa Mattingly's my favorite ref of all time. Did she ever ref you in college?
No, she like runs the refs.
Okay, yeah, Lisa Mattingly was always my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. She'd always diffuse me with like, "I got you, DT."
I just like to like actually have a conversation with you. Like, come on, like, we just want to talk. Like, and obviously,
I think that
always like.
Approach. Yeah. They talk about their relationships with the refs, and it's it's a two-way street. You have to meet players halfway, and at the same time, we have to meet you halfway.
Yeah. Speaking of how much do you love refs and technicals and ejections, here's the time Diana got ejected and sent me this photo from the locker room.
Oh my God! You got
tossed.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah, Dee, tell us. What happened?
I think I picked one up quick in the first quarter, which is, you're always doomed when you pick up a quick one. And then I picked one up in the third quarter, and it was time to go home. So I took my ass to the back, it chilled out, and my team got the win, and we went from there. But
How many technicals did you get last year?
Say it again.
How many technicals did you get last year?
So last year, I think the limit is 7.
It's 7. You got 6.
I got 6.
That's you two. You should know the limit.
I got 6 too. But this year,
my whole career.
Hey,
this year I'm not.
I can see it.
Oh wow, Sue, you're so perfect. That's good.
Okay, Kaylin, over under technical.
The refs love me.
I'm going 4.5. Over under.
Over.
Over 4.5.
Under.
I'm going over 2.
I already told.
No way.
I already told Steph too. Next.
2.
And it's more games.
Oh, it's more games. Sure, the odds are against you.
I was close to getting suspended for our last game, and like obviously every front office or your GM like probably tries to like get your technicals taken away, and they wouldn't take any of mine away. And I got 2 for slapping the stanchion of the hoop, and then I got another one for accidentally hitting somebody in the eye. So half of mine weren't even.
All right, so there you have it with that. Now it's kind of interesting that they was talking about the text because it's funny, because Caitlin Clark, the refs was trying to give her a tech to have her suspended, and that would affect the outcome of one of the last games or one of the playoff games, but. I love how Caitlin was able to break down Diana Taurasi's game and how she's savvy and how she do certain things and everything like that. And to me, I felt like that was important because Caitlin is a student of the game and she's very, very, she watches and she sees everything. And for her to pick up the little nuances that Diana Taurasi does, you best believe that Caitlin Clark is going to implement some of that in her game. You know what I'm saying? She's a second year vet. She's a second year player now, and she's learning how to what is going to be. And I'm sure off screen, she probably talked to Diane Taurasi to say, "Hey, how do you do this to get away? To get with the refs or whatever the case might be." You're gonna see some of this with Caitlin Clark this year when it comes down to the referees. She's going to manipulate her way to where she's going to get calls that she didn't get last year. You know what I'm saying? And people gonna say, "Well, she getting a special whistle," like Angel Reese was talking about last year. Getting a special whistle. And I also like how Diana Taurasi mirrored Sue Bird passing and Caitlin's passing together. I think Caitlin still is the top passer in the game because they see, even though they see things that other people don't see, and that's a great vision to have. I always say this: if your player can score and assist the ball, you got a dominant player no matter what, how you look at it, how you see it throughout the court. But all in all, this segment was really good between them. The interaction was good. They cracked jokes, they shared fun, and they talked some serious stuff. They even joked about Diana Taurasi's retirement, what she's going to do, and she said, "Oh, reality has finally hit her." You know what I'm saying? They joke about it, because the reality is coming situation, a year ago. So, but reality, and then, Caitlin was talking about, playing 10 years, you know, versus playing 20 years like Diane Taurasi did. And Diane Taurasi said, well, hey, Caitlin's, they was talking about how Caitlin done bulked up and everything. And Diane Taurasi was like, well, I've been trying to do that for 20 years. Well, apparently you didn't try hard enough. But Caitlin knows. They know the reason why Caitlin bulked up. They know that Caitlin's going into this second season not taking those shorts, not playing no games with nobody. So all in all, I love the feedback from them. One thing I could take away from this is that, man, Caitlin, she could talk. Man, I bet you if I had sat down with Caitlin and just have a conversation with her, we probably be talking for hours. She could talk, and the thing about it is, her analytic breakdown of games is so good. It's so genuine. I remember when the start of 2025 came and the Kelseys had her on the show and how she was breaking down certain things of football and players and stuff like that. That tells me right then that this girl watches everything. She paid attention to everything, not just her sport, but everything. So let me know what you think about it. I think it was to me, for Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird, I think it's a home run for them. They had to. They had to nail it with her as the last person, the last interview, because this was 21 minutes. So for the full description of the video, I will have it in, for the full link of the video, I will have it in the description box at the bottom. So check that out. Click, enjoy, like. As always, like, comment, subscribe. Until the next episode, it's your boy, Live Wire Sports, and I'm out.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.